Hey, what's going on, guys? My name's Slcmof, back again today with an excuse for why I haven't posted much this week. Only posted, I think, once this week, actually, and that is because I made a video, and it was a high-effort video that took a lot of time for me to make. So, if I make, like, 2 really high-effort videos, I'll put that up in a week. But if I'm just doing commentaries over gameplay like I am right now, I'll upload 3 or 4 videos a week. So just a heads up, if you haven't seen me post in a while, you should expect something good to come out from me, above average. I think I expect every video to be good of mine, and that's exactly why the video that I made I did not post up. Dude, I mean, I made the whole video, I uploaded it, I typed in the tags and the comments, or not the comments, the video description, annotations, the whole 9. The thing is ready, all I have to do is put it public. But, I watched it over one last time, and I decided it didn't really meet my standards, and I, decided that, it's still a good video, but not good enough for me, and most importantly, not good enough for you guys. So I decided not to upload, and that's my excuse for this week. Let's see which one I have next week. Anyways, so let's get right into the video. We're talking about the art of consistency today, which is, a big problem that I think everyone has. I started off being a very inconsistent player, and I still am fairly inconsistent, but I found methods of improving my consistency. I'm probably going to use the word consistency a trillion times in this video, so get used to it. So let's get right into the basics. There's 2 types of COD knowledge. There's applicable knowledge and 12-month knowledge, and that's what I call it, 12-month knowledge. And, that's what, for example, the Slums Glitch video I posted, that's only good for this game. If you're going to try, sorry, my phone's vibrating. If you try that in, you can't try that in Modern Warfare 4, Modern Warfare 2, whatever. You can't do that, because that's a spot that's only good, a method, a tactic, a knowledge, whatever you want to call it, that's only good for this game. But applicable knowledge, like gun skill, doesn't really vary that much from game to game. Yeah, there's 14 sensitivity and 10 in this game, and 10 sensitivity in Infinity Ward games, and it's a little bit different with the frame rate and all these other things. But for the most part, gun skill is going to carry over between games. Every Call of Duty game you play, gun skill is going to carry over. So that's the 2 different types of COD knowledge. So anyways, let's get further into it. But first I want to cover how I got good at COD personally. And maybe this method will help you or apply to you or whatever you want to call it. So the main way and the most obvious is I practice a lot. And I don't want that to be the underlying point of this video because that's obvious. But, Modern Warfare 2 I put in about 23 days. 23 days of straight playing, like sitting in a chair playing for 23 days. Just think about that. Obviously, it was not 23 days straight, but you know what I mean. A lot of Call of Duty. But, it pays off because I have a 3 KD in this game, and, imagine if I didn't play those 23 days in Modern Warfare 2. Would I be lesser of a player? I'm sure I would. The applicable knowledge, like I mentioned, does not go away. That gun skill that you learn, you're not really going to lose unless, like, the next time you play Call of Duty as, like, Black Ops 7 comes out. Then you might forget a couple things, but for the most part, as long as you're staying consistent, playing, every week, then you should be good. My second and my real final tip, I would say, to get good at Call of Duty is to play competitively. Now, besides watching YouTube videos, which is kind of that 12-month knowledge, like I mentioned, if you watch, like, for example, T. Martin's jumps and spots and map guides or whatever, that's good for Black Ops 2, but I would learn how to get good at Call of Duty, not Black Ops 2, if you know what I mean. But anyways, yeah, I played competitively, and I still do a lot. I play more than pubs, way more than pubs, and that's why I don't really have, super awesome gameplays, because I'm not, like, playing that every time I get on. I generally play game battles, and no one wants to see that, because it's, strategic, and, it's not, no dogs are swarm, so no one wants to see it. That's just the way it works. But I play competitively. I played for a website called Game Battles. I still do. And what you're going to do is you're going to get on there if you've never played it before, and you're going to get your butt whooped. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You're just going to get spanked. But that's how I got better. In Black Ops, I remember having a singles team that was like 1 in 30 or something like that. It was just horrible. And once you get to that status, go ahead and quit. That's a good tip. But I did not know that, and it paid off for me because I kept on playing. And, I learned a lot of cool spots, and, I started noticing, wow, everyone that's beating me is jump or drop shotting. That's unique. And, once you start picking up on these things, that's when you start getting better at Call of Duty. So finally, not finally, but now getting into Call of Duty tips, and that is, accuracy. Basically, because like I mentioned, accuracy and gun skill is something that applies to every Call of Duty game, whether it be Black Ops, Treyarch, Infinity Ward, Modern Warfare, whatever. And one way that I actually trained to, and I know training, this sounds funny, like you can't really train in video games, but you do, you ask the pros when they train per se, and that's not what I would call it. I just call it practicing. But and one way that I did that is if you go to like a firing range. It's not called firing range, but it's called like the pit in Modern Warfare 2. And that's where you like run through the obstacle course, you know, and you like shoot the guys. That's a real good way to practice locking onto targets. What I would do is not focus on like getting the fastest time, but I would focus on like every enemy that's like close up, jump, drop, shot, and that's a good way to practice. Bots obviously a great way to practice that same thing. If you don't want to get onto Infinity Ward games because it gives you nightmares like it does me, then that's fine. So finally, I want to talk about strategy. And here's probably the underlying message of the whole video, if it's not to play a lot and to just get better. What I would recommend that you do is to not have, the big mistake that I see players make is to go into a game, any match with a strategy. Not to mention you're not supposed to be strategic with your actions, but I'm saying you should not go into a match and that thought in your head that's saying, I'm going to rush this game or I'm going to camp. Because any good Call of Duty player is going to seize moments in which aggression is needed and seize moments in which you need to camp. And that's called passive-aggressive Call of Duty gameplay. And that is how you should play every single public match you ever play in your life. You should play with the mindset that sometimes you are going to need to sit in the corner for 10 seconds, but you also need to see, okay, there's no one on the left side of the map. We have a UAV up. Well, never trust UAVs, ghost a bitch. But, you know, there's a V set up just for, you know, whatever. Our radar always on. And, you know, the left side of the map is clear. I'm going to run all the way up and flank around. And that's when you need to be aggressive and then say, okay, there's people clearly pushing the B flag. I'm going to sit in the second story and get my 125 per kill bonus. So make sure that you understand that running around the map like a chicken with your head cut off like the mark of J tells you to is not the way to be successful at this game. And finally, my last tips to being consistent in Call of Duty Black Ops 2 is just to be consistent with your choices. You have the power to be consistent. For example, you should be consistent in your classes. You know, make 3 go-to classes and use them 90% of the time. Make that go-to score streak setup, UAV, Hunter, Killer, Lightning. Don't make it high, just make it go-to, reliable, and consistently good. You know, be consistent in all of your actions, in your passive-aggressive play style. Make sure you go into every game with that mentality. My name's Slcmof. We'll see you later.